Hello guys, welcome back to another RC video on my channel. I've not done one for a long time. It is the Nationals coming up this week, so I've got more bits to do. I'll be filming when I'm there and get some videos uploaded and various other bits and pieces. But in the meantime, a new kit has arrived, so let's open it. Right, so as you can see, I've bought the Reefer trailer because I've only got obviously my brooder one that I converted in a previous video, so I thought I'd buy a proper one. So let's see what we get in here. So boxes. Guessing they're the sides. And they're obviously going to be the frame rails. We have an aluminium bit there. We have one side, two side, three side, and I'm guessing that's a liner. So I'm guessing that alley will be the base and then the sides and the roof. So that's those. We have, don't suppose they're instructions, no. Just important information concerning this kit. So we'll either do the man thing and not read it, or we'll read it later. What's in here? Hopefully you can all see this. Yeah. Tyres. And our normal sort of style Tamiya bags. Whatever that is, just nuts. Some ramps and bits there. B. C. Screws. Tool bag and a couple of bits and pieces. Leaf springs for the axles. Some angle, which I presume is for the corners. Trailer suspension parts. Bag D. And another bag of screws. So that's another bag box out of the way. Right, what's in here? Right, it's all the plastic parts. So, wheels, the reefer, and obviously a lot more bits. And we have a full manual. So, let me sort all this lot out. Get all the screws and bits and pieces in the right piles, and get all the boxes out of the boxes and in the right order, and then I'll come back to you once I am ready to start building. Right, so as you can see, I separate all mine into takeaway trays. I've not had this many takeaways, don't worry, I've just bought these containers. So I've got A bag, B bag, C bag, D bag, E bag, all in there, so it's obvious. Then all the other individual bags that weren't numbered or anything have just been put in a tub all together. So that was in one bag, those screws are in one bag, etc, etc. I've got all the parts in alphabetical order, so then I can easily just flip through and find the letter I need. So I'm going to move all this out of the way, because what you do normally, I presume this is going to be the same, you start with bag A and go from there, but actually this doesn't look the same. This looks like, apologies for the rain, this just looks like you get told what bits you need and then you find the right one. So BA3, I'm guessing, is in bag B, which it is. That's BB2. Yeah, so it is fairly self-explanatory. Like in bag B, see BB1, you can see the thread there. That's the same, and they're all the right size as well, so they're all scale. So I am going to make a start. Let's get going on part one, which looks like the axles. Right, because I'm a plonker, I forgot to order bearings. In the kit, you get plastic ones. In the trucks, you get brass ones, or I think they're brass. And I forgot to order a kit. So I have ordered one for delivery tomorrow. So in the meantime, I'm going to ignore the axle builds. I'm going to start on the chassis build. So part 3, we need BB2s, BB2s which are in B, BC7 which are the nuts. They're probably in here as well. There are nuts in there as well, yeah. Screws, springs, etc, etc. It's just a matter of what I do is get all the bits out and then tick them off once I've sorted them, and then I know that I've used them all. So what I'm going to do is just put it on time lapse and I'll just get cracking building it. Well, I had a bit of a panic for a while because with the chassis you've got to use parts E. I didn't have any parts E. Obviously I've put all my bits in order. There was no part E. But pack P is actually attached to pack E. So you've got to separate these and then you've got E. I was getting panicky. I thought I was missing bits. But there you go. So don't do what I did. Actually check each individual bit and make sure they're not too separate, joined together. Right, so I'm moving on now. I've got to miss out part 5 and 6 and 7 because that's, well, 7 is to do with the wheel arches, but as I haven't got any of the axles in yet because I'm still waiting on the bearings, I'm going to move on a bit. So I'm going to start on number 8 and build the tyre holder. Right, as you saw there, I made the legs, and you probably saw I added grease to the sides because it was quite tight. So this now moves really freely. So they obviously there. It doesn't say anything about grease on the instructions, but it just makes everything move a bit more freely. So that's those made. Next is to mount them to the frame rails. Right, well it's Wednesday morning and the bearings have turned up. So I can go back to the beginning and start building the axles. I can put all these bits aside for now and come back to them later. So it's rcbearings.co.uk and they are obviously the Reefer bearings, 12 of the 1150s. So we've got them. Right, let's make a start on the axles. I'll clear this lot out first. Also, apologies for the Tamiya logo over here. I had a customer call me yesterday and I wrote their stuff down and I realised that I'd left it in full view. So hopefully that won't, well, it definitely won't be in there because I've moved the details. So right, let's crack on with the axles. Right, obviously you saw me putting those on. That would be a lot easier to do with them off, the wheel arches off the chassis, but and obviously if we had built it in the order the book says, because of having the bearings in time, this wouldn't have been on, so it would have been easier. But you can just about get to them, so they're done. Anyway, there's two types of wheel. One there with a round back, one there with a hex back. The round ones have wheel bearings or ball bearings on this rear axle, because you probably saw this building up. These are solid. These can turn, not in this situation because they're locked, but this can turn. So I'm guessing you can put a steer axle or a servo in to make it a steer axle. So maybe we'll look at that in the future, but at the minute we're just getting it rolling. So the ones with the round back have the bearings in and then they go on the rear axle. These have the hexes that go on this axle, but you'll see that as I go. So let's do it. Right, a little lesson. Read the instructions. There are so much going on in these that you do sometimes miss some, and I have. In a couple of the cross braces on here, you've got to put nuts on the inside, and not that one. So I've taken off the wrong one. But yeah, inside a couple of these, where they've got the holes, you're supposed to put nuts under them, and I missed it. So I've now got to take some of them off, put nuts in, and put them back together. Right, this is turning into a how not to video as opposed to a how to video. See those two holes there? Yeah, that's for that. I put this in upside down. I thought it was the brushed finish on the outside, so I had to re-drill, and I re-drilled it wrong once, but it's now screwed in, drilled and tapped, and it's on there. And that's the plate for the legs, so as you back in, it pops the legs down. So yes, that's that. Right, on to the next bit. Right, it's built, it's together. Obviously it's not painted, but actually our fridges, any other colours really, they're quite often white, so I think white will be okay. Obviously the rear end probably does need painting, but that can be done. I don't really like the round lights either, so I'll have to see whether I can get a UK version or Europe version. But the only thing is, on the Volvo, as you can see, it sits far too far back, so I think we're going to have to adjust that.